What's up, everyone? It's Books and Looks TV. So today I am going to be doing episode 2 of my series on the eldest light-skinned daughter trope. And this trope is basically how, like, oftentimes in media, the biracial daughter who happens to be light-skinned most of the time is depicted as desirable, is often perceived beautiful Black woman. Like, his parents pretty much, they want to have like an arranged marriage. Aside from him having women inside of his compound, he has women line up to like just demonstrate why they are beautiful, etc. And so in African culture, generally, at least West African culture, a lot of times, women are believed to be submissive to a degree. It's seen as attractive. And so this woman saying that she likes whatever he likes, she wants to do whatever he wants, whatever. Typically, I feel like a lot of men would like that. But Prince Akeem is supposed to be depicted as like progressive thinking, etc. He tells this woman to like bark like a dog, etc. Right? And me looking back, I get that they were trying to make a point that this woman will do whatever I want her to do and she doesn't have a mind of her own. But I'm like, why did they have to do that to a darker skinned woman? Why did they have to tell her to bark? And I know y'all might be like, it's not that deep. But when you think about what they made her do and how they depicted even Patrice McDowell compared to Lisa, you can see it's very much colorism. And so Vanessa will actually talk about later how she purposely wasn't picked for the lead role because Eddie Murphy pretty much had the best friend. They're like going to New York City. His best friend is basically kind of like his security guard because no prince travels alone, right? And so while they're there, they're looking for women. And then Lisa McDowell is like running this fundraiser and she seems very passionate, very kind. And she's telling people to like give to those in need. And Prince Akeem and Sammy, they happen to get a job at her father's restaurant called McDowell's. So the father's kind of like, I guess you could say upper middle class, etc. And Prince Akeem and his friend, they're portrayed as like some foreign students who don't have a lot of money, right? Lisa's father is just determined to make money at no matter cost. And it kind of reminds me of like Color Purple now that I think about it. I'm not trying to get too deep off, but when it's like themed as like who's considered desirable, even though in The Color Purple, the older sister was darker, this seems like a habit of like men wanting to marry their children off. Know that her father kind of set up that Daryl, her boyfriend at the time, who's like lighter skinned, and his parents happen to own, or his family happens to own like Soul Glow, which is like a texturizer company or known as like Jerry Curls, whatever. And she finds out that he pretty much said, you know, y'all are going to be married, and Lisa doesn't have a say so. And she's like, Prince Akeem, whoop-de-woo. Lisa has no say so, and the highest bidder gets her love or attention, assumingly. Let's stop and go into Lisa's character in general. So Lisa is seen as like this soft, feminine woman who's generous, a hard worker. She's always like in her father's office. She is a good sister, obviously, you know. Her and her sister seem to get along well in general. And she's just someone who seems very mild-mannered. She's painted in the positive light in this movie, right? Patrice, on the other hand, isn't portrayed as the same. So Patrice is younger than her, slimmer than her, beautiful as ever, but even the acknowledgement of Prince Akeem existing and being like someone wealthy, and Patrice gets to like just look and say, you know, wow, why does she get all the good ones? It's kind of like a jealous undertone in the movie. And, you know, if you're probably young, you're not painting her in a great light, right? But again, Patrice is like generally seen as someone who's very bubbly, who likes to have fun and who likes to dance. But again, there's this like tone of undesirability. I was just like thinking about all this, you know, Vanessa Bell Calloway, right? The woman I talked about earlier who was hopping around, barking like a dog, you know, trying to portray herself as someone who was worthy of Prince Akeem's love. She says she auditioned for the lead, but wasn't cast in the small role due to colorism. When you have white people hiring Black people in movies, sometimes a certain look is wanted. She claims the film's team wanted a light-skinned girl. I just wasn't light enough, even though Eddie had the final say on who played Lisa. So she acknowledged to me that the producers had a lot to contribute to that, but also that Eddie Murphy chose in the end who he wanted to be his love interest, who happened to be Shari Headley, aka Lisa McDowell. And Calloway continued, that's something that we've always dealt with within our race. A lot of men were indoctrinated by having a white woman or a light-skinned woman on their arm. I didn't want the part of Imani. I wanted to be Lisa. I had read the script and I wanted the bigger role. Nonetheless, Calloway says she is still grateful to have been in the film. The real deal is, when you're in a situation like that, you want to be a part of an Eddie Murphy movie. I wasn't going to say no. I would have loved to have led the part, but I was very happy to be in a movie. I can't lie about that. I said, I'll make the best out of this and I'll be the best. It was a smaller role, but it was a glamorous part to play, and Shari did a great job. So me hearing her say that you want to be part of an Eddie Murphy movie was kind of interesting, because again, Eddie Murphy is a dark-skinned Black man. And as I have stated in my deep dive video on Eddie Murphy, he's going to have a mixed woman, light skin, as a love interest by default. That's just who he seems to be. So moving along, I can't forget. So now I'm going to play some public opinion and then I'm going to conclude. I know people hate when modern women or feminists criticize classic movies or damn near anything, to be honest. Things were different, blase. Let me ask you this, though. Why is it that even on Coming to America Part 2, Prince Akeem is chilling in Zamunda with his wife that he brought from New York City and has a realization he needs to get his grown-ass son that he birthed in a one-night stand when he was sloppy drunk and had sex with a dark-skinned Black woman out of her Black coochie. Happens to be Leslie Jones, right? So Leslie Jones, I generally like Leslie Jones. I know there's been like some statements about her being problematic, whatever. I know Leslie Jones is a darker skinned woman and she has been taunted like in real life by her features, right? So anyway, Prince Akeem, only way he can even have sex with a dark skinned woman, he had to be fucking pissed drunk. And I'm just thinking to myself, this is not a mockery, I don't know what is. And so he brings his son, his bastard child, who was struggling in New York City with the Black mom he left behind. Can't make this up. Anyway, he brings them to Zamunda, and he has to admit to his wife that, you know, this happened all along. And so if y'all don't think that there's this like ongoing colorism, but this time it's kind of more so, I just don't know. Like, I feel like the older light-skinned daughter trope was presented in this movie. I feel like all these women were beautiful. I do think Lisa McDowell is beautiful, and I have nothing against her. I just noticed that often in Hollywood, this trope is brought up. Often these women are sexualized in one way or another, and it's just kind of, it's horrible. That's all I have to say about this topic. Let me know what y'all think down below, and thank you for listening to Books and Looks TV. I'll see y'all next time.